Hey there, today we are going to talk about proportions. A proportion is a statement that two ratios are equal. It expresses the relationship between two quantities where the ratio of one pair of quantities is equal to the ratio of another pair of quantities. You can check if two ratios are proportional by their cross products. To find the cross products, we set the two ratios equal to each other and then multiply diagonally. If the cross products are equal, then the two ratios are proportional. Let's take a look at an example to understand this concept. Are the two fractions 3 over 5 and 9 over 15 proportional? Well, to find out, we can cross multiply. Let's multiply the numerator of the first fraction by the denominator of the second fraction, and the denominator of the first fraction by the numerator of the second fraction. After multiplying first expression, we get 45, and after multiplying the second expression, we get 45 as well. So therefore, the two fractions are proportional because their cross products are equal. When two ratios are proportional, they have the same value. This is why they're also called equivalent fractions. And therefore, 3 over 5 and 9 over 15 are equivalent fractions because they are proportional. Let's now look at how proportions can be used. One use case of proportion is to find an unknown quantity. Let's take a look at this example. You're making lemonade and the recipe says to use 5 cups of water for every lemon you squeeze. How many cups of water do you need if you have 6 lemons? Well, to solve this problem, we need to set up a proportion between the cups of water and the lemons. So one ratio would be 5 cups of water for 1 lemon. And for the second ratio, we know that we have 6 lemons, but we do not know how many cups of water we need. So we can represent this as x cups of water for 6 lemons. And this x is the unknown quantity we need to find. So to find the value of x, we can cross multiply and set the two expressions equal to each other. After cross multiplying, we get 1 times x equals 5 times 6. X times 1 would be x and 5 times 6 would be 30. So therefore, we need 30 cups of water for 6 lemons. We just use proportions to find the value of unknown quantity. There are many real-life situations where you can use proportions to find unknown quantities. Notice that proportions remain the same even when the quantities change. What do you think is the reason behind this? Let's find out with this example. Tim runs half a mile and then he drinks 1 cup of water. If Tim runs 1 mile, he needs 2 cups of water. If Tim runs 1.5 miles, he needs 3 cups of water, and so on. Here as well, the proportion of miles run to cups of water consumed is constant, which is 1 to 2. So even when Tim runs 1.5 miles, the proportion of miles run to cups of water consumed is still 1 to 2 because he drinks 3 cups of water. When a proportion stays the same, it is known as the constant of proportionality or the constant of variation. Only when constant of proportionality is the same, we can use proportions to find unknown quantities. So make sure to check if the constant of proportionality is the same before using proportions to find unknown quantities. Now let's take a look at another important concept where proportions are used, and that is converting measurements from one unit to another. Measurements are used to quantify length, weight, and capacity of objects. So there are two main systems of measurements used around the world. In the United States, we use the standard system of measurement. Let's start by looking at a standard system chart. This chart includes 3 main categories: capacity, weight, and length. In the capacity category, we measure how much a container can hold, like liters and milliliters. For length, we measure how tall an object is, using units like meters and centimeters. And for weight, we measure how heavy something is, using grams and kilograms. While the standard system is commonly used in the United States, most other countries use the metric system of measurement. Here are some metric system measurements and their equivalent units. For length, we have units like milliliters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers. For capacity, we have units like milliliters and liters. And for weight, we have units like milligrams, grams, and kilograms. Now let's use these charts to convert measurements from one unit to another by using proportions. For example, how many centimeters there are in 2 kilometers? The chart doesn't have a direct conversion from kilometers to centimeters. But from the chart, we know that there are 1000 meters in 1 kilometer. So we can use this information to first find out how many meters are in 2 kilometers and then convert meters to centimeters. As you might have guessed, we can use proportions to solve this problem. We know that 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters. So we can write it down as 1000 meters over 1 kilometer. Now what we do not know is how many meters there are in 2 kilometers. So we can write it down as x meters over 2 kilometers. After cross multiplying, we get 1000 times 2 equals 1 times x. So after simplifying it further, we get x equals 2000 meters. Now we know that there are 2000 meters in 2 kilometers. But we are not done yet. This question is asking us to find out how many centimeters there are in 2 kilometers. So from the chart, we know that there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So we can write it down as 100 centimeters over 1 meter. Now we do not know how many centimeters there are in 2000 meters. So we can write it down as y centimeters over 2000 meters. After cross multiplying, we get 100 times 2000 equals 1 times y. After simplifying it further, we get y equals 200,000 centimeters, and therefore there are 200,000 centimeters in 2 kilometers. So this is how you can convert measurements from one unit to another while using proportions. I hope now you have a better understanding of proportions and how to use them to solve real life problems. That is all for now. I'll catch you in the next one. Till then, keep learning and take care.